You did say it was going to be a draw. You did say it was going to be a draw. I was expecting much, much more from Man United.
I don't know why.
Thought that was silly.
I don't know why. No, not silly, but I don't know why you don't like when we predict things right, because it makes us look good.
No, I don't like it when you predict things.
Yeah, but
right.
I represent us too. So if you get it right, we both look good. If I get it right, we both look good. Like we know what we're talking about.
Oh, this is a collaborative thing.
Yeah, because you can take that as well.
We're partners here.
Upfront. Predicted.
I see what you did.
No one can see me winking at you, but get on board.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. 1-1, points shared between both teams, with Russo scoring in the 63rd minute and Mallard in the 82nd minute. This was an interesting one because the rhetoric after was that first time interim boss Rene had dropped points, whereas I was thinking going into this game that actually Man United could have a fairly good chance of actually walking away with the points on this one.
Yeah, I think going into it, but after it, yes, it's drop points for Arsenal. Arsenal were so good in the second half. Created a lot of opportunities, but not enough on target. So that's been my only, a bit of a concern, and I appreciate you can't change things overnight, but it's a similar issue with Arsenal. It was not a great first half, not the most exciting first half, but come the second half, Arsenal came out of the blocks.
All guns blazing.
Oh yeah, all gunners blazing. And
nice.
I do think the goal was coming. They deserved the lead, and I do think based on that performance, they should have won the match. So they will feel frustrated to let United back into it. I think with Arsenal, I feel like we've kind of gone over this so many times, but the need or incessant desire to make so many passes around the box as you get into that final third. It just allows the other team to get back and set up and clog up your route to goal. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And when we think back to that Kafaji goal against West Ham, it was like back to front, like really quick ball, shot goal. Do you know what I mean? And I think they just need it. I'm not saying do that all the time. I appreciate they have a style, but sometimes you just need quicker football, quicker shot at goal, rather than this like in and out, round the back, go back around the other side, back to the defenders, back around to the left side, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. Well, like turn the opportunities into something.
Weirdly enough, Rachel, I appreciate what you're saying. It seems to make a lot of sense because that's exactly how Russo's goal actually came about.
Stop it.
Yeah, it did. So Russo running in at the near post, really beautiful effort. I think from a goalkeeper's perspective, Russo was absolutely bang on in terms of her technique because, Tullis Joyce will have wanted to be keeping that front post clean. That's exactly what you're taught as a priority. And instead of doing it at the front, getting that sort of like chip in, the cutback at the sort of the front post situation, Russo then sort of like skewed it across Tullis Joyce's body, and she wasn't expecting that. And at that range, getting down to get a hand to it, it's like the distance and the time, it's not enough. So
I thought she did well overall, though. Tullis Joyce.
Amazing.
Again, that's another
that's not on her. Yeah,
no, I think it kept United in it. It made some crucial saves, and also just some crucial gathers that might not have gone down as saves, but like quick thinking, getting out, smothering a ball. I thought she did really well.
She's been super, super impressive, and a big part of, I think, why they still remain unbeaten this season. Marc Skinner's obviously 100th game in charge of United. I feel like the Barmy Army have very much calmed down on the old Skinner out rhetoric.
Yeah, you win an FA Cup final, there you are.
Maybe the fans have been sort of focusing on Jonas Eidevall for the last couple of months.
But also United haven't lost, so
that does make things a lot easier.
Keeps people happy.
For sure. I mean, what are you thinking of Marc Skinner's reign so far? Do we think he has been doing quite well with United, or do we think it's just that they haven't really faced that much of a test so far in the WSL bar the Arsenal game?
This season maybe, and I think that's why when I was going into this, I thought potentially a draw. But equally, I appreciate Arsenal haven't had the best start to the season, so it's a good opportunity for Manchester United to capitalise on that. Always hard to judge these things off the back of an international break as well, because sometimes a player can go away, have an unreal international break and come back all guns blazing, as we've already said earlier. That maybe wasn't really the case. It was a little bit of a flat game, particularly in the first half. Maybe expected more from Manchester United in terms of their press and their intensity. We've seen more of that from them. You think back to the first half of that Brighton game. Brighton couldn't get out of their own half.
And defence, though. I mean, they were being picked apart. It was. I didn't appreciate that at all. I thought they could have, the structure that they had at the back was all off.
Yeah, and I just think, utilising the right player at the right time. There was a lot of times where Ella Toone was available and shouting for it and wouldn't get the ball. So maybe just that kind of decision making. So not, their best display. Perhaps that kind of, Arsenal still have that thing about them, right? When you're coming up against Arsenal, teams tend to raise their levels or feel a bit like on the back foot a little bit, and maybe that's what it looked like. Whereas in the past for Manchester United, they don't play like that. Do you know what I mean? They've come out and gone, we beat them once, we know how to beat this team. And I think when you look back at like previous results, I don't think Arsenal have won back-to-back games against United since November 2021.
That's a great stat.
So United should be going into that confident, right? You know they can beat Arsenal. You know, Arsenal are having a difficult start, and I don't feel like they came out with that intensity.
Didn't come out with it, but I think built into it in a way. I think
that was I got the goal. Bloody hell! Like, I thought they were going to win it.
That goal. I mean, Melvin Mallard and Rachel Williams were definitely United's super subs. Mallard scored the late equalizer thanks to that Williams assist. I mean, it was the cheekiest flipping goal. So she was standing in front of Daphne Van Domselaar, obscuring her view, and then kind of almost like nodded it on behind. It was kind of like a flick of her head, like looking up towards the sky, and just got that touch on it. I think there was a bit of calamity between DVD, Kim Little and Mallard.
Yeah, I think
beautiful.
I think almost Kim Little marking Mallard. You know, I think I know, but she's not going to be tall enough to clear that header, is she?
No, but you're supposed to be blocking that space. You're supposed to be protecting your goalkeeper, but at least getting an arm out to it. But I think she'd got herself like almost sandwiched in between them.
And but it also made it more difficult then for Van Domselaar to come and claim that ball.
Definitely.
And, you know, we do have a question here about whether either of the goalkeepers could have done better. And actually, I think Van Domselaar had Mallard just not got that tiny little touch. It was going into her gloves, and she just got that perfect touch at the perfect time to just knock it out. So I don't think either goalkeeper really could have done that much about the goals. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me.
No, I think I don't blame DVD for that goal at all. And with Tullis's one, we've already touched on it. I don't think she was doing exactly the right thing, which is marking the near post. So not marking the near post, covering the near post. Sorry. So yeah, I don't rate. I think the goalkeepers generally had a really good performance. But yeah, I think it was interesting though with Mallard. So obviously there was a couple of efforts that Arsenal sort of came back towards the end of the game. Leah Volti with that sort of long range effort again.
Oh my God,
Mallard in the exact same way that she scored the goal, saved a goal from United. Again, a flick of the head back and just knocked it over the crossbar.
And then they got a goal kick for that, I think. Yeah. You'd almost be raging because you're like, did you not just see what I did? But 100%. Also, fine.
100%.
Do you think this result gives us a clear indication of how United are doing this season? Do you think that's more of the United that we were expecting, or do you think they've dropped a little in this game and actually they're doing better than what that game showed?
I think when you look at them as a collective, still unbeaten, 5 games in, I think generally speaking, it's been obviously a really good start to the season. Do I think their performances have always been consistent? I think no, because I think it's almost like they've had this sort of run of games that have been, teams they're fairly expected to either pick up points or, definitely not lose. But you've got a game like Arsenal in a weakened position, obviously just trying to struggle to, find out who's going to be their manager, although it looks like obviously Renee's in for the next 4 games now. And I think that they could have capitalised on that a little bit more. And I just didn't think they had that kind of firepower.
Ruthlessness. Yeah,
it just wasn't there. And I find that a little bit sus.
And it's mad to be unbeaten and be 4th.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that just shows the gravity of like what we're facing with the league. I mean, Man City look completely dominant, and Chelsea, I mean, we'll get onto them later, but they're actually giving me nightmares, to be honest. Well, guess who turned up to the game? Good old Sassy Viggs.
I forgot you'd nicknamed her that.
Yes, I have. She was there. Layla asked us on Twitter, what do you think will be her main takeaways from the game? Has Millie Turner done enough to make the squad? God, there's a lot of questions here,
I was going to say.
Has Leah Williamson silenced the doubters after that Germany game? Touching on Leah Williamson, thoughts and prayers for being absolutely bombarded into the sort of awnings. She was kind of boosted off the ball, I'd say, by Rachel Williams.
It was shoulder to shoulder. It was just unlucky that it happened right at the edge of the pitch, where it then dips down into the dugouts and she went to tumbling.
100%. I think everyone's like heart was in their arse at that moment when they were like, okay, well, Leah's not too long off an injury, and she kind of disappeared off screen, but then kind of reappeared. We were thinking, she's going to make a bit of a deal out of this. Like she's been, the whole of the bench was up in arms, but Leah Williams just sort of like got herself up and
brushed it off
and casually got back onto the pitch. So, hope you're okay. And that wasn't just the adrenaline getting you back on the pitch there. Going back to Layla's questions,
I don't think her main takeaway would be about Millie Turner or Leah Williamson, to be honest.
Fair.
I don't think that would be. I mean, she definitely would have seen them, and I think it's always going to be tough for Millie Turner, for any central defender to break into that position, because it is, England do have a lot of quality there. Although I'm sure after the last couple of games, everyone is saying no, they don't, but they do. But I think it's very useful for Wiegman to be seeing someone playing that well in that position, giving her a headache, to be fair. But I do think we'll have Millie back in the squad at some point, even if it is the wider squad. I do think Leah Williamson played well.
Yeah, she did.
I thought Russo played well.
Definitely. And I think you have to give credit to players like that who obviously come off the back of, some pretty not great performances with England. They will have recognised that. Obviously, there's been so much discourse online telling them that they've not performed well. And then
they definitely know. Get
out of that headspace and then go back into club football. It's probably quite a welcome break, to be fair.
I think from a Man United perspective, I'm not sure Toon and Clinton had their best games, which, isn't the end of the world. I do think Millie Turner probably was the best player for United on the pitch, so that will be something she'll take away from it for sure. But definitely. I don't think it's not, I know she comes to these games, but it's not like you go, oh, bad performance, well, she's out, or great performance, she's definitely in. That's the difficulty. It's a longer process, I'm sure.
Definitely. Well, also a celebration for Millie Turner as well, who celebrated her 150th appearance and was player of the match. So
Love that.
she was definitely good. Do I think she's good enough to break back into the squad at this moment in time? I think it's probably doubtful, but that's not to take away.
But maybe the wider squad.
Definitely, for sure. Renee Slegers has confirmed that she will remain Arsenal's interim manager until the next international break, which is at the end of the month. I think that gives her 4 more fixtures with the Gunners. She did say after the game that she's very happy with the performance and the way the girls wanted to attack the game. I think they had in total
16.
Was it 19 shots
19.
and 4 on target? So shots are all there, not great directionally. She did say we've gotten a lot of things well performance-wise. There were still a lot of positives, but then again, definitely a disappointment, only gaining 1 point. We're getting closer to converting more shots. It's just about how we time our runs and the detail on the final pass.
But I feel like that's been the issue this season.
Yeah, she's not telling us anything new.
And also, are they getting closer with 4 out of 19?
I mean, that's almost a quarter.
I think the frustration will be having not finished the game, because they deserved to. They were better, and it kind of felt like after the goal went in that the momentum was with them.
For sure.
So to not then convert another will be very frustrating.